Hey guys, it's Tim from Bench Revolution, and this is the GreenSpeed Magnum HandCycle. You may recognize this as a GreenSpeed Magnum, and you'd be right. GreenSpeed modifies their Magnum to create a HandCycle. They have a 9-speed cassette here, and that's matched with a 3-speed internal hub. So that's already 27 gears of shifting, but there's even more that I'll show you in a minute. But first, let's take a closer look at that Sturmey Archer hub. Here's a better look at the internal Sturmey Archer gear. These are great because you can shift without pedaling. So you can just drop to whatever gear you need and continue on your ride, even if you're in the wrong gear when you pull up to a stop sign or start a hill. In the front, all the pedaling equipment has been moved to a mast. On the mast, there's the crankset with the handlebars mounted parallel to each other, so you just pedal with your arms. It's got little stirrups for your feet to hold your feet in place. Since they're not doing the pedaling, they're along for the ride. And in here, you can see there's a button in the middle of that bottom bracket or crankset. And as you hit that with your hand, that gives you yet another set of gears. So if you've been counting along at home, that's a total of 54 gears on this trike. These grips are pretty comfortable. You can move them in parallel, like I said, and get to where you're going. Of course, you're not going to go anywhere backwards. But this is a great way to get around. Everything is handled as far as the brakes and the shifting on this kind of dummy bar. It doesn't do anything. There's no steering involved here. But both brakes, front and both sides, are connected by this one lever. So you just hit the one lever and both brakes activate. Shifting is accomplished with two sets of levers, one lever and one knob. And the knob controls the Sturmey Archer. The shifting controls the cassette. Once you're in, you just kind of pull up that mast and lock it into place. Put your feet in the stirrups and take off the parking brake, and you're ready to crank away. Gear selection is pretty important since you can get in too heavy a gear to move very easily, but once you're used to it, I think it'd be pretty easy. You steer, like I said, with the mast, so it's pretty sensitive. Takes some getting used to, obviously, if you're not used to pedaling with your arms. I am particularly weak, so I found it pretty challenging, but if you are someone who is used to pedaling with your arms or has more upper body strength than I do, then you probably will find it pretty easy. And with all those gears, you probably have the right gear no matter what terrain you're in. I'm just setting the parking brake here, and then I'm going to move the mast out of the way. Once you unlock the mast, then you just can remove yourself from the bike. Here's a better look at that locking mechanism for the mast. It's got kind of a spring lock, so you have to compress it to get it to go back into that slot. And so I'm going to do that here. And then once it's in the slot, you just lock it away, and you're ready to ride. The chain is handled by two idlers next to each other, so it goes kind of at a right angle there, and that's how it goes back to the cassette and then returns. So it's a little bit different than a regular trike, but it works really well. Again, to get the mast out of the way, you just open this clamp. Easier said than done, one-handed. And then once you do that, you're able to move the mast out of the way and either enter or exit the bike. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the Magnum HandCycle, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.